Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your first overview and test drive of the QN506. This is the top level reward for the Repair Factory crafting event for War Thunder. And of course, I will have actual gameplay where you can see me playing this against other players in the near future, in the next few days. But for now, I will show you the modifications and everything about this vehicle, including taking it on a test drive so you can see exactly how these missiles and cannon function. And my god, it is ridiculous. Now, this is currently a rank 6 BR 9.3. I do not see it being there for long, but it is still, give or take, around the same BR as the BMP-2M. I don't really see it being there for too long. Now, it does have some ERA up here on the front. I'm surprised that this is not ERA. Maybe they'll change it. It looks like ERA visually, but this is where the ERA is. Otherwise, this has a pretty thin amount of armor outside of the ERA. Now, it does have some pretty interesting internals. Of course, you do have the unmanned turret. You have the 3-man crew down here, and they are mostly protected by ERA, especially if this becomes ERA. You're really going to be able to pen this thing fairly easily, especially once you get past this ERA. Now, it does have a really nice amount of optics, or zoom for the optics, at around 10.7 for the commander and 12.0 for the gunner, which is nice. And also, speaking of, you have your weapons, side armor, all that. So, by itself, it has around a 15-to-1 power-to-weight ratio. As you can see, 31 tons to around 460 horsepower. But once you get this fully upgraded, it will have around 17.5 power-to-weight ratio, which isn't all too bad. Now, for the internals, this is ridiculous. It has Gen 2, possibly Gen 3 thermals. Let me know once you see it test driving. I find it difficult to distinguish visually between the two. But the thing that everybody's looking at is the armament, and my god, it is ridiculous. This is a tandem charge ATGM for its main armament. These are those large missiles, the 4 missiles, and it has 1,000 millimeters of armor pen. Again, tandem charge no less. And it has just a ridiculous amount of everything. Lock range of 20 kilometers. This is IR guidance. These are the first fire and forget missiles in War Thunder, at least for ground, and you'll see what I mean in a second when I say that they are ridiculous. Otherwise, we also have these 70 millimeter ATGMs, which are by themselves also very powerful. Now, these function pretty much like you would with any other ATGM, kind of like what you might find on the BMP-2M, except of course these are smaller, but they still have 200 millimeters of armor pen at max, which is awesome and will go through a lot of lower glacis plates. Then, to top it all off, we have the 30 millimeter cannon, which comes with APDS by default, right? It's a mixed shell package, a mixed belt, but it still has half of it being APDS with 85 millimeters of armor pen, which is crazy. And then it has APDS FS as its top shell at over 100 millimeters of armor pen at max. So this thing is just ridiculous. Plus, it has a laser warning system. So that said, let's get into test drive, test this thing out. But man, 9.3 BR at this. I mean, again, albeit it doesn't really have the most ammunition for its 30 millimeter cannon, and it does have a fairly slow turret traverse speed, and also not the best power to weight ratio. This thing's just ridiculous. Let's get into this test drive, see how it is, but you'll know what I mean. This thing is just stunning. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we are with the QN506. Let's just look at this. Again, Gen 2 thermals, good zoom, commander sight now, good zoom, and it just looks pretty good. Mobility test is pretty nice. I mean, it's not incredible. As you can see here down the bottom left, it does glow red. That means that one of the missile types cannot be fired while on the move. I believe that's the smaller missile type, the 70 millimeter, but let's go do this right now. So right up there, we have that F-86. Okay, I'm locking onto it. And okay, so I cannot fire while on the move while using these larger shells, but let's go lock onto it. See if I can hit it. Again, this is fire and forget, so it's automatically tracking that thing. Not sure if it's going to hit, but we should see a big cloud of smoke if it does. Right there. Oh, wow. Okay, let's go test it out against a ground target. That leopard seems far enough away. Let's fire. Okay. Misfire. Okay, let's go try this again. Whoops. I'll get away from behind the berm. So let's fire. Now, as you can see, it goes up, it's top attack, and then it goes down, smashes right in. Again, bear in mind, 1,000 millimeters of armor pen. Now, let's go do this without zooming in first. I already know that there's a vehicle down there, and it already knows. It knows it's right there. Let's go fire that thing up. Top attack. Boom! This thing's, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's insane how good this thing is. Like, okay, I'm gonna just try to fire this. These are the 70mm rockets. I doubt I'm gonna be able to have the range to be able to hit him, but who knows, right? This is manual guidance, by the way. Okay, didn't even get close. But with that said, let's go fire it on this guy. Okay, lower glacis. It just went right through, no problem. And again, those are the smaller rockets. Let's go launch a salvo at this guy. You can just mess him up any which way. Doesn't really matter. It's just, like, even if you don't kill them, you will still make their lives miserable with these things. Let's just go launch a salvo. So once you launch a salvo, you better make sure that you're relatively close range, because it's not going to work all that well. We do also have a laser rangefinder, so I can fire on him at range, but it's not going to be all that useful against a vehicle like that. But, again, I mean, these are 200mm of armor pen for a shell like that. That's really, really good. Okay, let's go fire it on this guy. No problem. As expected, went right through, killed him. This thing is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, it does not have one of those things like with the Bradley, for example, or the Puma, where you can kind of lock your turret and then it follows it and you can shoot it down like this. You will have to manually guide your shells. So bear that in mind. But otherwise, I mean, again, ridiculous. Let's go fire this. So, it appears as though there are some malfunctions initially. But overall, I mean, like, look at that. No problem at all, going right through all that ERA. It's just ridiculous how good this thing is. Now, its cannon seems like it might be the weak link. Let's go fire up. And boom. Hit him. Probably damaged something real fierce inside the vehicle. And let's go fire on this guy way off in the distance. Again, no specific zoom. I'm just going to fire on him. Fire and forget. Let's see if I can actually track it. Got him. Wow. Okay, so let's go try out these smaller rockets against aircraft and call it a day. But my, oh my, this thing is ridiculous. So I'm going to use a smaller rocket on this. I'm going to, again, this is manually guided, so if I miss, I miss. That's my fault, obviously. I did not miss. Did not make much of a boom, which is expected, of course, but it's very, very nice regardless. I think I missed him. I did. And then I hit him. Not that difficult. And these are 70mm rockets, and you have 20 of them. They move at 450 meters per second. So in all, is this thing good? Yes. People hate the BMP-2M at 9.3 BR. People are going to absolutely hate this at 9.3 BR. I just don't see how it is. I mean, this thing, if those missiles, the QN502 CDD missiles, if those function properly, you are talking about just an absolute killer of a machine. Now, you do have to be stopped while firing them, but once you fire it, it does all the work for you. I mean, like, look at that. And then you could just do this right next to somebody and kill them. Like, you can kill any, like, people thought that there were, so many crazy ways that you could use the, various vehicles to kill other tanks. And again, this does have its limits. As you can see, it does hit the ground sometimes or has trouble kind of making its route. But once it actually finds a route to hit somebody, it's going to be amazing. Now, in cities, this might not be as good, at least with those larger missiles. But the closer missiles, forget about it. Like, look at that. APDS goes right through, and then you can just finish them off like this. So, yeah, this thing is going to be absolutely insane. And I cannot wait for it. I mean, like, this is truly the best of the best when it comes to the vehicles for this event. And it's just, it's game-breaking, almost. So, yeah. That said, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all on the other side. Good luck fighting these, and good luck grinding for it if that's what your goal is, because it is just ridiculous. Take care, everyone.